The city of Peoria is funding several programs to help prevent violence, but these aren't police-related programs. One of them is Cure Violence, a community approach to detect and interrupt potential violence. Our Phil Luciano spoke with a professor who studies crime prevention programs to get his take on Cure Violence.
Do programs like Cure Violence work? Yes, says Dr. Jeffrey Butts.
They're worth the investment. They're promising programs. They are not a magic solution.
Butts is a research professor for the John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City. He has done extensive studies of Cure Violence and similar programs. Though some studies show a mixed bag of results in some cities, Butts says the programs can work if violence interrupters are given time to build street relationships.
They form relationships with trust and understanding. You don't walk into a community and immediately approach someone who's known to be involved in street violence and talk them down. It takes a time. And I don't know about you, but I don't really trust people until I get to know them. I know where they're coming from, and I know whether we share basic values and understandings.
It can be a challenge to find effective violence interrupters who typically get paid not much more than minimum wage.
This is not the kind of job that allows you to fall asleep easily at night. You're out in the community, walking through the park at midnight, looking for that young person who you know has a gun and has been talking about some conflict they're involved in. It's not an easy job.
In some places, these programs have been running for as long as 15 years. By and large, Butch says, they're effective.
And when we evaluate those efforts in some neighborhoods, we did an extensive evaluation here in New York, and we found in the neighborhoods that got these new programs, their decline in violence often outpaced any declines we saw in similar neighborhoods that did not get the program.
Butts knows of no instance where these programs made a situation worse. In fact, the cost generally proves to make sense.
But it's a valuable investment and it's worth it. And the way we monetize the value of the outcomes is to say how many shootings were probably averted. So in a neighborhood that typically was having 8 to 10 shootings a year, it went down to 4. Well, that may not seem a lot, but if we prevent 4 shootings in a neighborhood, you think about the economic consequences of that. Each shooting probably costs $300,000 in medical care, probably another $500,000 in extended medical treatment, lost wages, housing, all those consequences.
Back here with our Phil Luciano, and the professor had an interesting take on the whole Cure Violence thing, and I know something that interested both of us were the interrupters in this process.
And it was great to talk to him because I'm not always like a pessimist, but I'm a realist. And when I started reading about these programs and the violence interrupters, I'm like, where do you find these people? I mean, that's sort of the linchpin of this whole program, right? You got to find solid people who know the streets, they're brave, they're honest, they're at it all the time, and they don't get paid a ton of dough. And I'm like, does this work? And the professor says that he's researched this, and it does work.
Yeah, you definitely got to get people who are entrenched in the streets, and you can't just get some Joe Schmo off of Monster.com.
Right. And it like he talked about that. On one hand, you got to find people who are brave. On the end, but meantime, you got to find people who aren't still attached to the life, and that's got to be, it's like almost like a '70s cop show. Are they in? Are they out? That kind of thing. It's just what it seems like. But like he said, apparently these people are trainable. They do a good job, and the program can work.
All right, we hope it does work, and we will follow up on that in the future. Have a great night.